So today's discussion is on the second law of thermodynamics, which restrict the first law of thermodynamics. Okay, so the first law of thermodynamics, it has got certain limitations. To mention that limitations, to restrict that particular law, we have the second law of thermodynamics given by Rudolf Clausius and Kelvin and Planck. Okay, so before that, we have to discuss one more concept here, that is the refrigerators and heat pumps. Okay, so refrigerators and heat pump. See this refrigerators. Okay, so this refrigerators and heat pumps, they work on the principle of reverse Carnot engine. Okay, reverse heat engine. So what is heat engine? If you draw the block diagram of heat engine, so in heat engine you should have three main components. One is hot reservoir, an hot reservoir which is always maintained at the temperature T1. Okay, next you have a working substance. Okay, so this is your working substance which removes certain amount of heat from Q1, and it do certain work here, and that work is given by that entire amount of heat energy is not converted to work here. So W is equal to Q1 minus Q2. What is Q2? Q2 is the heat rejected to the cold reservoir which is maintained at the temperature T2. Okay, this hot reservoirs and the cold reservoirs, they are the materials which are having the high thermal capacity. Okay, so therefore the temperature remains always constant and some amount of heat energies get converted to work here. Okay, is it possible to convert entire amount of heat energy into work? Okay, the first law of thermodynamics, it doesn't give any idea about this conversion, but the second law of thermodynamics, it restricts. Okay, it says that it is impossible to convert entire amount of heat energy into an work. Okay, so before that, so what is meant by refrigerators and heat pump? So these refrigerators and heat pumps, they are nothing but they are reverse. They are reverse heat engines. They are the reverse Carnot cycle. They are the reverse heat engines. Reverse heat engine. Okay, so as we study in last lecture, Carnot cycle, it is a cyclic process. Okay, it undergoes an it is a cyclic process. It is a reversible process also. The process is also reversible. What is meant by reversible here? In this case, you can see that. Okay, so what is the reversible here? If you look at the path of the flow of heat here, so heat is flowing from hot reservoir to cold reservoir, and a certain amount of heat energy is get converted to work. Okay, so the reverse is also possible. Heat can flow from cold reservoir to hot reservoir. Okay, the reverse is also possible, but so one small change is that. So what is the block diagram of refrigerators? Now this is the block diagram of refrigerators. Now here, so this is the hot reservoir, same. Okay, so which is always maintained at a temperature T1 in both the cases. It is hot reservoir, second is the cold reservoir. That means temperature is always T1 is always greater than T2. Okay, so this is the working substance. Same here, and this is the working substance, and next is the cold reservoir. Okay, cold reservoir. Okay, as we studied in the last lecture, this process is also an reversible process. So reversible process means what? Here. Okay, so in the first case, heat is flowing from hot reservoir to the cold reservoir. Reversible means what? The heat should also flow from cold reservoir to hot reservoir. If this process is possible, then we say that heat engines undergo a reversible processes. Okay, yes, it is correct. So here in case of heat pumps and in refrigerators, now this working substance remove heat from cold reservoir. Okay, you can see here Okay, so the same amount, because it is having a temperature T2, so you can remove an amount of energy Q2 from the cold reservoir, and it reject heat to the hot reservoir. So this time the heat is flowing from cold body to hot body. Is it possible? No, it is not possible. According to second law of thermodynamics, it is not possible. Okay, so itself it is not possible, but if you do certain work on the system, okay, so it is not possible. The heat cannot flow from cold to hot. Naturally heat flows from hot to cold, but heat cannot flow from cold to hot spontaneously, but if you supply certain external agent, okay, if the third person is there, okay, if it makes certain work on the working substance, then this thing is possible. Okay, if the system do certain work, if the surrounding do certain work on the working substance, then it is possible. Okay, so see, you can see here this is an exactly reverse. If you look at the direction of Q1, Q2 and W, here it is reverse. Therefore refrigerators and heat pumps are called reverse heat engines. They are the reverse heat engine. Okay, so before going into the working of refrigerators or heat engines, let me define their okay, so their efficiency. So okay, so the how this find this refrigerators and heat pumps are working. See, in case of Carnot engine, we have measured this capacity in terms of an efficiency of heat engines, and we have defined this one. Eta is equal to what? Eta is equal to your input energy is Q1 and the amount of energy is Q1 minus Q2. Okay, so during our derivation, finally we get a formula. Our efficiency is given by 1 minus T2 by T1. The efficiency of the Carnot engine, it depends on the temperatures of hot reservoir and cold reservoir. Okay, so but in case of this one, okay, so this is an, as it is a reverse here, okay, so they are going to use the definition of coefficient of performance. Okay, coefficient of performance, instead of efficiency they are defining the coefficient of performance. It is defined as Q2 by W. Okay, who is the input here? W. Okay, so now this quantity, the coefficient of performance is decided by W and Q2. Okay, so what is the amount of energy absorbed from the cold reservoir to the amount of work done, that is called coefficient of performance. Okay, okay, so you know that the what is the maximum efficiency of the engine? It is the 100%. That is not possible. Ideally, okay, it is not possible. Practically, we cannot make 100% efficient engine. Okay, so that is nothing but our second law of thermodynamics. Similarly, here you can see that the coefficient of performance, you can see here, so this is Q2, this is W. Okay, you can see that which quantity is greater? Q2 is greater. Okay, Q2 is greater, therefore your coefficient of performance is always greater than 1. That means it is always greater than 100%. Okay, and you have 200, 300% of. Okay, so this thing is possible because this time you are doing the work here. You are not hitting a work here, you are doing a work here. If you are doing a work, then it depends on you. Okay, you can give any amount of work on the working substance. Okay, therefore it is always greater than 1. Okay, so now this is the block diagram of refrigerators and heat pumps. Okay, refrigerators and heat pumps almost they are same. Okay, but only their subject is matter, whether you are keeping in a, okay, you are making your system as cold or you are making your system as hot. Now that decides the refrigerators and heat pumps. Their objective decides. Okay, that makes the difference between heat pump and refrigerator. But if I take the, okay, so the flow of heat and the block diagram, it is same for refrigerators as well as the heat pump. Okay, so now let me go into, okay, brief explanation about okay, how this actually this heat pumps or refrigerators works. Okay, so now see here, so this time your heat is flowing from colder body to hotter body, but naturally this is not possible. Okay, if you take a cup of coffee, okay, if you put it on the table, after some time definitely it cools down. Reason is that is a natural phenomena. Heat flows from hot body to cold body. Okay, you do not any external agent to cool it. Simultaneously, spontaneously, it get cool. Okay, but if you keep the your cold coffee on the table, so whether it is get heated after some time? No, it remains, it remains cold. Okay, your table doesn't give energy to this coffee. Okay, because the reverse is not possible. Okay, the reverse is not possible. Heat flows from hot to cold, but heat doesn't flow from cold to hot naturally. Okay, but if you make, okay, if you make, okay, if the coffee become cold again, if, okay, if you stir something, if you make some external work, then again you can make an hot coffee. Okay, but you have to do certain work there. Some external agent, the external person is required. Okay, coffee, okay, the coffee doesn't hot it as it is, but if the some person comes into that picture, okay, if we do certain work on that substance, then definitely that, no, that is possible. Okay, so now see here, so you have to remove heat from the cold reservoir and you have to supply heat to the hot reservoir. Flowing of heat from hot reservoir to cold reservoir is natural one, but you have to make, this time you have to make the flow of heat from cold reservoir to hot reservoir. Okay, you have to remove the heat from the cold reservoir and you have to supply heat to the hot reservoir. You have to remove the heat from the cold reservoir which is having a temperature T2 and you have to supply heat to the hot reservoir whose temperature is T1 which is greater than T2. Okay, now see here how you can do here. Very simple. See, so again, see, as it is the explanation of an Carnot engine. Okay, we have taken hot reservoir, cold reservoirs, and our system. See, our system is in. We have considered our system is in container. So it is in a container fitted with an frictionless piston. Okay, so this is our system, and our system is in. Okay, so our system, this is system. It is in a frictionless piston. Okay, now these walls are perfectly, so these walls are perfectly insulated, and the base is perfectly conducting. Your base is perfectly containing, and walls are perfectly insulated. Okay, so now you have your working substance. Okay, you have your working substance here. So initially you are keeping your working substance on the cold reservoir which is at a temperature T2. Okay, initially working substance doesn't have any temperature. Okay, or let me assume that its temperature is less than the temperature of cold reservoir. In that case your heat flows from, okay, the heat flows from, this heat flows from cold reservoir to working substance. What is the amount of heat flows from cold reservoir to working substance? Now this is Q2 only. Okay, so this is Q2. Okay, so again, okay, the process takes place in such a way that, so you are supplying heat from cold reservoir to working substance until the temperatures become equal. Until the temperatures become equal. Okay, then the heat flows. Okay, heat flows from hot body to cold body until the temperatures become equal. Finally, when the temperature of cold reservoir and the working substance both become T2, then flow of heat stops. Okay, so now the working substance has got certain temperature T2 and it has got certain heat energy Q2. Next is you have to keep this. Okay, now what you have to do is, okay, so now this, okay, so this time you are, okay, so you are compressing. So working substance, take this working substance. Okay, so what you have to do is, so this is a working substance. Okay, initially having a temperature of T2. Okay, so these walls are perfectly insulated, on the base is conducting. Okay, so this time Okay, so let me assume that, so you're keeping something here, so which is also an insulator. That means he should not flow from the system to the surrounding. Okay, so if you compress this one, if you start compressing this one, okay, let me compress this. Okay, let me compress this container. So that means you are doing certain work here. Okay, you are doing certain work. Okay, you are doing work here. Okay, now see, there is no exchange of heat here. There is no exchange of heat here. So what type of process it is? It is an adiabatic process. It is an adiabatic process because there is no exchange of heat between the system and surrounding. So it is an adiabatic process. As a first law of thermodynamics says that your delta Q is equal to delta U plus delta W. Okay, so there is an adiabatic process. Therefore, delta Q is equal to 0. Therefore, delta U plus delta W. Okay, so therefore what? Delta W is equal to minus delta U. What does delta W is equal to delta U says that if you do the work on the system, and that work appears in the form of internal energy. Okay, if you do work on the working substance, then your internal energy increases. Okay, this same magnitude. If the work is done by the working substance, then your internal energy decreases somewhat. So delta W this time becomes delta U. Negative sign indicates that their directions are opposite. Okay, if you do the work on the working substance, then automatically the internal energy increases. As the internal energy increases, the temperature increases. Okay, because the internal energy, the sum of the kinetic energy of the particles in a container, it is related to temperature. Okay, so therefore as your internal energy increases, your temperature increases. Okay, you just compress the gas. Okay, you do the work on the working substance, you start compressing the gas until your temperature T2 becomes temperature T1. Okay, the temperature should increases from T2 to T1. Okay, are you getting me? So next is now you have to keep this working substance which is at a temperature of T1. Okay, so temperature of T1. So this is your working substance having a temperature of T1. Okay, now this time let me keep it on the hot reservoir. Okay, hot reservoir whose temperature is also T1. Okay, as the working substance temperature and hot reservoir temperatures are same, heat doesn't flow. But what you have to do is, now here again you have to do the work here. You start compressing. Okay, again you start compressing the gas. As you start compressing the gas, what happens? Now here this temperature increases. Okay, let me assume that it increases by small amount. Delta T1 becomes T1 plus delta T. As you can see that T1 plus delta T is greater than T1. Therefore, heat flows from what? Heat flows from working substance to hot reservoir. What's the amount of flow here? It is Q1. Okay, until the temperatures become equal. Again, you compress this one. Again, the temperature increases slightly by T1 plus delta T. Heat flows from working substance to hot reservoir. So this process goes on. Are you getting me? Okay. Okay. So this is the one single process here. If you look at the overall picture, okay, you can see here. So where does this heat comes from? It comes from the colder reservoir. You can see here. So working substance is absorbing the heat from the cold reservoir and heating, and the working substance is rejecting heat to the hot reservoir. Okay, so this working substance is absorbing heat from the cold reservoir and it is rejecting heat to the hot reservoir. Therefore, your heat is flowing from cold reservoir to hot reservoir. This is the principle of refrigerators or heat pump. Okay, but you can see here in your diagram number 1 and diagram number 3, there is a diagram number 2 where some external person is doing the work here. If there is no step 2, then step 3 is not possible. You cannot directly go from step 1 to step 2. The step 2 is required. The step 2 is nothing but external work. Okay, so are you getting me? Therefore, so the working substance remove heat from the cold reservoir and it reject heat to the hot reservoir, and the surrounding does work on the working substance. Okay, these are nothing but the principle of refrigerators. Okay, you can see that in a refrigerator you are you want to you are keeping some your foodstuffs to cool down. Okay, you want to cool them, so you are keeping your some apple in the fridge. So what does this refrigerator do? It remove heat from the apple and it send heat to the surrounding. Okay, if you look at the temperature of refrigerator and temperature of surrounding, which one is greater? Definitely the temperature of surrounding is greater. But your ultimate flow of heat is from fridge to the surrounding. Okay, so how does it take place? Very simple. If you look at the back of the refrigerator, okay, if you go into the back of refrigerator, you have seen some compressors are there. Okay, what is the working of compressor? No, it is nothing but they remove heat from the apple. Okay, now that working substance present in the compressor, it remove the heat from that apple, from the foodstuffs, and it compresses that okay, so that environment, that gases which is taken out from the refrigerators. So compressor compress that gas and it makes its temperature greater than temperature of surrounding. Therefore, heat flows from the refrigerator to surrounding. Are you getting me? In the same case, heat pump also. Okay, in a heat pump, so in a colder countries or in a winter season, they are using the heat pumps. Okay, they want to keep their home warm, therefore they are using heat pumps. Okay, what does this heat pump do? Very simple. It removes heat from the surrounding. Okay, where the surrounding temperature is less. Okay, it removes heat from the surrounding, and that heat pumps have the compressor. They compress it. They compress the gas. As they compress the gas, the temperature increases and it's sent to that particular room. Okay, therefore your heat is flowing from colder surrounding to the hotter system, hotter rooms. So that is called heat pump. Okay, that objective is different, but the flow is same. Okay, here the heat flows from cold reservoir to hot reservoir. Now the question is, see, in case of heat engines, heat pumps and refrigerators. Okay, so in heat engines, 1 minus T2 by T2. Okay, so 1 minus T2 by T1. The basic question is, okay, so what does this heat engine take place? In case of heat engines, heat is flowing from hot reservoir to cold reservoir, but 100% of work is not doing. Okay, some amount of heat energy is rejected to the cold reservoir. There is nothing but our surrounding. In case of bike engines, who is the cold reservoir? Cold reservoir is nothing but the surrounding atmosphere. In the cars, who is the cold reservoir? Now that okay, coolants present in the cars, they are nothing but the cold reservoir. Now question is, can you make a complete conversion of heat into work? Okay, can you prepare certain engines, okay, where you can get the 100% efficient engines? Okay, so can you prepare heat pumps or refrigerators where heat flows from cold reservoir to hot reservoir without help of any external work? Is it possible? No, this is not possible. Okay, it makes the restriction on the first law of thermodynamics. Reason is, if you look at the first law of thermodynamics, okay, if you look at the first law of the mathematical form of first law of thermodynamics, the mathematical form of first law of thermodynamics says that delta Q is equal to delta W plus delta U. Okay, delta Q is equal to delta. So let me make a special case here. If there is no heat energy, then delta U is equal to delta W. Okay, that means what? So delta W is equal to what? Minus delta U. Delta W is equal to what? Minus delta U. Are you getting me? Okay, so this particular mathematical statement, it says that you can do the work by decreasing the internal energy even though there is no supply of external heat energy. Now this is the particular okay, so explanation of this particular formula. Okay, 0 delta U becomes delta W, or delta W becomes minus delta U. Okay, so you can do the work even though there is no external heat energy, and that work comes from the internal energy, the fall of internal energy. If the fall of internal energy takes place, that means what? The temperature decreases. Okay, so if you take this example in case of general, okay, so I cannot make this statement as a general one. Okay, for an example, now see here, so some chalk piece is there. Okay, so this chalk piece is lying on my palm. Okay, so let me apply this formula here. Delta W is equal to delta U. Now this my hand. Okay, so it cools down. It cools down. It decreases its internal energy. Let me assume that it's not possible. My hand get cools down. It decreases its internal energy, and it supply that amount of internal energy to this chalk piece. Okay, so the temperature of my hand decreases, it cools down, its internal energy decreases, and it supply that that same amount of internal energy to the chalk piece, and that internal energy appears in the form of work, and the chalk piece start moving. Okay, so see, it's okay, so this is just hopping into the some higher position. Okay, I'm not moving now here, so this start jumping into this higher position. It is possible? No, it is not possible. Okay, this one is not possible. Okay, the material, see, if you are supplying heat energy to something, then definitely it go to the higher level. For an example, if you take the popcorns. Okay, if you heat the popcorns, see, popcorns are the very lighter objects, so the example fits here. If you supply heat energy to popcorn, then start jumping into the higher position. Now that is possible. Okay, you are supplying the heat energy, but this time no one is supplying the heat energy here. Okay, now that internal energy of my hand, the fall of the temperature of my hand, that internal energy, it gives to the work to the chalk piece, and chalk piece start moving in the upward direction. It is possible. Whether it is possible? No, it is not possible. It is not possible. Okay, so the heat doesn't flow from cold to hot spontaneously. This is not possible. Heat flows from hot to cold. It is possible, but from cold to hot, spontaneously it doesn't flow. Okay, so therefore, now these things are not given in first law of thermodynamics. First law of thermodynamics doesn't give the direction. First law of thermodynamics says that yes, it is possible. Your delta W is equal to minus delta U. Okay, yes, in the 60 to 70% cases in thermodynamic processes, we are using this formula, but we cannot make it general. Okay, in all the cases in the natural phenomena, I cannot use this. Okay, I cannot use this formula in both the ways. In one way it is possible, but on the other way it is not possible. Therefore, this Rudolf-Clausius and Planck and Kelvin, they make certain restriction on first law of thermodynamics by giving the second law of thermodynamics. Okay, so let me start. Okay, about the second law of thermodynamics. Okay, so second law of thermodynamics. Okay, so it makes the restriction on the first law of thermodynamics. Okay, first law of thermodynamics is that you can convert entire amount of heat into an work. Okay, so in some cases, okay, if your delta U is 0, you can complete entire amount of heat into work. The first law of thermodynamics says that delta W is equal to what? Your delta U plus delta W. Okay, in some cases delta U becomes 0. You can, okay, so delta, your entire amount of heat energy get converted to work. Okay, so but in the second law of thermodynamics given by this pioneer scientists like, see, Lord Kelvin and Clausius, Rudolf Clausius, Kelvin, okay, they make certain restrictions here. Okay, so they say that, so Kelvin and Planck says that no process is possible whose sole result is the absorption of heat from a reservoir and the complete conversion of heat into work. Okay, so you cannot make 100% of heat into an work. You cannot convert entire heat into one work. Okay, no process is possible whose sole result is, whose single result is the absorption of heat from a reservoir and the complete conversion of heat into work. Okay, you cannot completely convert heat into work. That means what? You cannot make 100% efficient engine. Okay, so if N is equal to, so it is Q2 by Q1. Now this is the formula of this one. Okay, if entire amount of heat energies get converted to W, that means this Q2 becomes 0. If Q2 becomes 0, your efficiency becomes unity. In terms of percentage, you can say that the efficiency becomes 100%. But the second law of thermodynamics says that this process is not possible. You cannot make 100% efficient engine. And second one is, no process is possible whose sole result is the transfer of heat from a colder object to hotter object. Heat naturally cannot flow from cold to hot. Okay, the first law of thermodynamics, it doesn't give the direction of flow of heat. It says that yes, heat flow from one point to other point. Okay, so delta Q, so it may be flow into the system. It is flowed from the surrounding. It doesn't make the restriction on the flow of heat here. But here, the Clausius, root law of Clausius says that no, the transfer of heat from colder object to hotter object is not possible. Heat can flow from hot to cold, but not from cold to hot. If there is some external agent is there, in case of heat pumps and refrigerators, no, that process is possible. But sole, it is not possible. Okay, no process is possible whose result is the transfer of heat from colder object to hotter object. So this is our second law of thermodynamics, and our syllabus somewhat completes here. Okay, so the topic of thermodynamics completes here. Okay, so in next lecture we take certain problems on thermodynamics. Okay, so thank you for your kind attention.